Welcome to the Motivated Martial Arts Podcast. Your hosts, Jackson White and Gavin Cook, have been friends and Taekwondo training partners for over 40 years. This podcast will bring you a mixture of their life stories, martial arts, and business experiences to motivate you in life and throughout your martial arts journey. Adding in a mixture of inspiring interviews and some of the best traditional martial artists around today. So over to your hosts, the Motivated Martial Artists.
Okay, welcome to the Motivated Martial Artists Podcast with me, Jackson White.
And Gavin Cook.
And today we've got our first guest from the continent of Africa. He's the Taekwondo practitioner. He runs a number of schools and he's the head of the African Taekwondo International, Joe Magagula. Good morning, Joe.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good morning, Joe, on this fine morning.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Okay.
We're all good on this end. So what I'm going to do, Joe, I'm going to hand you over to Gavin for the first question.
Okay, and Joe. So all we try to do is kick off really and just understand, how you first got into martial arts or Taekwondo, and how you first got in, what your schooling and your early years were like over in South Africa.
Yes. Okay, so the first question will be based on the early years. How did I start martial art? No?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. What happened? I started martial art in 1984. You see?
Okay.
If I still remember good those days, I started with the art of Wadoryu karate because there was no Taekwondo in South Africa.
Oh, so it's Wadoryu, okay.
Yeah, I started with Wadoryu karate. The reason why I took Wadoryu karate is because I was bullied at school. You see,
okay.
A lot of bullying when I took my lunch. The police used to take my lunch, take my money, and I was so afraid to tell my parents and my brother at home what happened. Always quiet. But when it's time that I must go to school, now I have a problem that I don't want to go to school. And I was not even coping good at school because of what was happening.
Right.
Okay. So
later on, yes.
So what sort of age was that then, Job?
Yeah. Then later on, what happened? I saw my brother one evening was just training at home, practicing some martial art techniques, Then I joined him. He was my elder brother. You see. Then he take me to a local Wadoryu karate club. You see, I was 9 years old.
Right.
And surprisingly, we were training in the teen house. In the evening, the teen house was a karate dojo.
Okay.
And during the day, it was a classroom. That is a primary classroom. We used to attend school because of the situation that was existing in those days, still under apartheid government. There were no even schools. Some children, sometimes we study even under the trees. So in the evening, my instructor, which was Elmon Koza, used to buy candles, light candles, because there was no electricity. We started now to practice. He was training us. My main aim was to learn a martial art so that I can defend myself against bullies. It's what motivated me to join the art.
Right.
But when times goes on, now I started to understand that no. Martial art is more than it's more than fighting. It's a way of life, Because what was happening in the dojo those days, they were just instilling like humility and respect, and that helped us to develop a strong personal character. You see. So I trained 84, 85, 86. Then 87, 1988. Then Elmon took me to his instructor. Then we used to travel about it's 27 kilometers barefooted.
Right, okay.
Then we introduced me to his instructor. Then he left me there. Then every day, Monday to Friday, after school, then I used to travel. Then I go and practice 27 kilometers. I come back, those days. Then I train. It's 87, 88, 89. Then I found Taekwondo in 2002. It's when I started Taekwondo. But the style of Taekwondo that I was doing those days, because it was Taekwondo, it was WTF before we found Taekwondo International.
Okay.
The reason I get Taekwondo International, it is because one guy, Johan Nell, who was in WTF, left WTF and joined Taekwondo International. So we were too close, It's when in 2010, 2011, is when I joined Taekwondo International till today.
Right. Okay.
So,
yes.
so Job, just going back to 1988 when you were doing Wadaru Karate. Just talk us at the sort of what sort of training did you do? Because presumably you wouldn't have had a lot of equipment back in those days. What sort of training did you do?
It was tough, There was nothing, the situation of the country in those days. The government, South Africa was still under the apartheid government. So even, just imagine, in the environment there is no electricity, no water, clean water. If we need water, we have to go to the fountains, go to the rivers, Even training equipment was nothing. Just we used to practice katas, techniques, exercises, running. It was mountains. Because like Sensei Jele in 88, he's a man who loved mountains. We went to the mountains, trained on top of the rocks. We ran mountains up and down, No, there's nothing. Just we're using the nature around us, so that at least we can practice the martial art. That is how I've grown up,
So lots of katas and lots of katas and lots of press ups, presumably.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of press up, a lot of running, and sparring, and a lot of pre-arranged sparring and also free sparring. This is what was happening in those days, you see.
Sure.
Even a formal punching bag was not even there, we just used to get the sand, then since they used to make a punching bag, then we put the sand, then how it was,
Okay.
It was hard, yeah.
Yeah, hard times, I'm sure. So when did you first start to compete in the competitions?
Okay, I started, because, I started competing in 1998, because those days, we were just training, since I was just having 4 clubs, we used to compete among ourselves in the clubs, and I was just, I was a champion, because there was a problem, the way the country was run. Then I started to compete nationally when, after the fall of the apartheid government. When I joined WTF Taekwondo, I used to compete. And I remember in 2002, I won a silver medal in the national championship. They were selecting an All-Africa game, a team for All-Africa Games. I won a bronze medal in Cherokee fighting. Then I stopped competing from there, you see.
Okay.
Because I remember the preparation for that championship. I used to, every day, I started running the mountain about 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, practicing kicks, I won, Then after that, because I didn't get the gold medal, I was not even in the national team to go and compete in all Africa Games.
Right.
Then I stopped competing. I started competing again when I joined Taekwondo International. In 2013, when when Master Johan selected the South African team, then I was part of the South African team, and also I was assistant coach for the team, but I was also competing. I remember what happened before I went to the World Championship, because we left South Africa on the 5th of July 2013. I was involved in a car accident on the 28th of June. Then I was in a hospital, terrible car accident.
Okay.
Then I went there to the World Championship. Nobody believed that I would compete, you see. And I went to Europe. In Coventry, I competed. Then I won a bronze medal in patterns,
Oh, fantastic!
I did never compete anymore. Yeah.
Okay. So what are you doing now? You're not competing. Are you more on the coaching side of the team?
Okay. Now what I'm doing now, I'm developing Taekwondo.
Okay.
Developing Taekwondo in Africa. As I'm talking now, Taekwondo International was only here in South Africa. You see.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've went to other countries like Mozambique. I've already, if you can even look into the website, I've recruited guys there. I'm also in Zimbabwe. Now there's Taekwondo International in Zambia, then it's Botswana, then it's Nigeria and Malawi. So now my main aim is to focus on developing Taekwondo International in the African continent. So that's my main aim now.
Fantastic.
Developing our art, yes.
Are you getting any help from the government with that job?
Yes, I get help. Look at what happened now. Remember, I was doing things on my own, and from the World Organization, Taekwondo International, I did look. Now we have organized a Master Warren Rice. Then he came down to assist. We're having a sparring seminar, which all my clubs are around South Africa. They come together. It was good. It also attracted the national TV. He was broadcast about on television, in national TV. That helped us to publicize Taekwondo International in the country.
Right.
We went to the 2 radio stations. We went even to the government. Then the government now started to taking us serious. So next year, I will be starting visiting those countries. And train with the guys with an aim of starting hosting an Taekwondo International Africa Championship, which we are planning to do it next year in October. So we can bring all those countries together, so that we can start competing. That will be a project that will happen every year. So we are preparing to take those countries in 2021 to the World Championship in UK.
Right, fantastic. That sounds really interesting. Yeah. What sort of challenges are you finding with trying to unite the different countries under Taekwondo International around Africa?
Yes.
So
what I say? It was not easy, but what helped me a lot after I went to the World Championship, I won. A lot of guys in the African continent started to take me serious. So it's when now they started wanted to join Taekwondo International. So I referred them to the chairman, Grandmaster Dave Oliver.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's how you see. You find them some African countries in the website. So now my aim is to go there personally and also train with those guys here. So the challenges that are there, trying to say what I've just experienced here in the African continent, guys has been a first then or a second then for over 10 to 15. There is no growth. So we need at least to start now training with those guys to develop them. Then they must come down for grading. There's a lot of work to be done, and I will also please get the assistance from also our world organization, at least to make sure that we uplift those guys until they are becoming in the international standard.
Sure. Yeah. So making sure that they're meeting those standards and that those standards are adhered to.
Yes.
Okay. And how do you see the future of the competitions? Have you got a lot of good fighters? Is there a lot of raw talent in Africa? And certainly there is in South Africa, in the other African countries?
Yes, I see. Because now, since I from last year, as I say, I'm heading Africa Taekwondo International. Then every year, but I'm also affiliated to Martial Arts South Africa, where every year Martial Arts South Africa, let's say there is an Arnold Classic Africa, where Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming down, different sporting quota up. Say all martial arts come together. My guys did well, and from the children till to the adults, they get the gold, the silver. I can see really that we are producing best fighters. If they can do well in different martial arts within the country. So in future, it shows that when we go to the World Championship, and through it also with an assistant of Warren Vice for sharing his skills here, at least he has helped us a lot
Fantastic.
Okay. What's the sort of breakdown job in South Africa with children versus adults that are wanting to start martial arts? Because obviously in the UK we tend to find these days we have a lot of children that want to start martial arts, for similar reasons, are quite often because they may be having problems being bullied, or they want to gain confidence, or they want to learn to sort of defend themselves. How is the sort of breakdown over in South Africa with sort of adults and children?
Okay, the way I'm looking at it's the same. Most adults, they are joining Taekwondo.
Okay.
The reason why it is because of the high crime rate.
Yes.
They join Taekwondo for the sake of self-defense.
Okay.
The way I see it. And we also have a lot of children also who are getting to Taekwondo also, as you are saying, because bullying is a major problem worldwide.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay, and how was with all the sort of changes in government and things over in South Africa? How was the how would you say the crime rate has changed, sort of going back from sort of 1980s and obviously change of government in 1989 through to sort of present day? How was sort of things developed over there?
Okay. The way I see now, crime is more than before.
Okay.
Now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's more than before. Yeah, the time really is more than before, because now I think the way, it's really bad now, to be honest. Crime is more than before. When it comes to crime, it's more. The rights, let's say people, they got the rights too much, the way I see now. So crime is more than before.
What are the sorry, Joe, what are the government doing to try sort of combat that? Is it something that government are looking to try and combat to bring that crime rate down, or would you say that there's not that much intervention from the government?
Okay, what the government is doing, the only thing that they do, because to make criminals make sure that they do crime while there is the police are not there. Even criminals now are arrested, then they will go to court, get lawyers, then tomorrow the criminal will go free. The way things are. So the different, because the crime which is popular too much. It's like raping, killing of women. Killing of women and raping, and also when people are taking the crooks take the thugs take off their belongings. This is the high, because that is caused by the high crime rate within the country. That can be one of the major problem within the country.
Okay.
So I see a lot of people are taking martial art.
Okay, so you say that there's quite a high sort of rape crime rate in South Africa. Do you find that you get a lot of ladies, women, or young girls starting martial arts to maybe look at defend themselves, or is it mainly a sort of male dominated arena?
No. It's equal, because now I see a lot of females. If I look at my club, the clubs that we have, I can say we have about 40%. 40% of ladies who have joined the art. Can be say 60% of males.
Okay, and would you say that a lot of that is for the self defense side?
Yes.
Okay. Do you get many of the ladies doing competitions?
Yes, we get them, because if I still remember the championship that we attended since last year and also this year, the ladies, they did well, because they get into Taekwondo with an intention of self-defense, but on the later stage where they also become interested in championship, so we get a lot of talented and good ladies in the art.
Okay, that sounds really good.
Yes.
So, Joe, just going back to you as an individual a little bit, can you tell us what some of your greatest achievements are in your martial arts career?
Okay. What I can say, my achievement in my martial art career, first thing that I can say, first of all, in 1999, then I was elected to be a first black chairman of all karate style in Mpumalanga province, and I was also in the additional member of Karate Association Karate Transformation Commission. That was my first achievement that I started to see. You see.
Okay.
Then in 2013 is when it was for the first time to participate in the World Championship or to go to the international world. Then I won the bronze medal in patents in Coventry City in the 2013 Taekwondo International World Championship. Then I was a fourth then, of Taekwondo International. You see. So another achievement is that after I won the World Championship, it attracted a lot of things, because I remember I was also approached by a owner of a world magazine, American Martial Art Masters magazine. They profiled me there. How did I grow up? What happened? So that was because of the achievement that I because of my winning in the Taekwondo International World Championship. Mm-hmm. And they also, the very same world magazine, they awarded me with a fifth black belt, just as an honor. Looking back where I come from, is from the difficulties from the time of apartheid, but I persevere in the art till today.
Yeah.
But then early this year they gave me a 5-10. So October this year, Taekwondo International. Then I was also promoted to a 5-10 black belt of Taekwondo International, because I was a 4th-10 of Taekwondo International, graded in 2012. So this year I've also been promoted to the 5th degree of Taekwondo International, because the organization saw the hard work I did in Africa to make sure that I grow Taekwondo International in the continent. Because my main aim is to make sure that at least from Cape to Cairo, Morocco to Madagascar, we have Taekwondo International in this continent.
Fantastic. No, that sounds fantastic.
Yes.
Would you say in your competing career then, the job, have you done best in patterns and kata or in sparring? What's your sort of preferred discipline?
Okay. When I was in WTF, I was competing in fighting.
Okay.
Then when I went to Europe to the Taekwondo International World Championship, because of the car accident, what happened, I competed in patterns and I competed also in fighting. So in fighting, I lost on point. I was not good really, from the car accident to go and compete.
Sure.
That's why I also but I love patterns the most. I love patterns.
Okay.
I love patterns because I think what made me to love patterns is because of my background. Because in those days when I was still a child, we used to practice a lot of katas. Katas were repeated. So that made me to love patterns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you come over for the next World Championships in the UK, do we need to watch out for the special moves that you've learned from Mr. Warren Weiss?
Yeah, he's a dynamic man. He helped us a lot and also opened our eyes. Really. And then I also thank his sacrifice just to leave UK and come here and show and share his knowledge. And now we are just making sure that we stick to what he taught us. We follow it. Then so at least in future when we go to the World Championship, we can also make sure that we put South Africa on the map.
Okay, that sounds really good, Joe. So who has been your greatest inspiration in martial arts?
Okay, what happened when I was still a boy, we used to watch this, what was happening, as I was telling you that the situation was, fun to say, the people who are making business by taking a generator, get this projector, biscope, then I was taken by John Liu, if you know John Liu and Wang Jiangli, the kicking system, how they kick, So later is when I started to find out that they were doing Taekwondo, those guys. That I started falling in love Taekwondo. But all those years, there was no Taekwondo until I found Taekwondo in 2000. So I can say John Liu was the man. I used to watch him, love him the most, and wanted to kick like him one day. So I can say a person that I was also watching, and I was trying to be like him in the world of martial arts. So also again, my second Waduri karate teacher, Sensei Simon Janet, is the man who have helped me to take martial art and make it as a lifelong journey, to make it as a way of life. He made me to understand the art. The martial art is not something that you do it only for self-defense competition, but it is a way of life, and it makes you to be a better person.
Sure, of course, and it's also by the sounds of things from what you're doing over in South Africa. Not only has it been a way of life, but it's also been a way of almost uniting countries within South Africa.
Yes. So that's why my aim is to make sure now. I want to make sure and to see that at least now in Africa we become a big organization in this side of the world. Because what I've seen martial art did to me, and the love and the support that I've get from Taekwondo International for everybody. When I was in UK, when I look at the grandmasters, how they treat us, you can see, man, how they love everybody. Look at everybody, competitors, how they were, at least I want to see that happening here in the African continent.
Oh, fantastic. I think you've certainly got the size and the population and the adjacent countries to be able to achieve that. It just takes, I think, a strong, motivated individual, to bring all these different groups together under one banner and really deliver, a good quality competitor and organisation within Africa. Most definitely.
Yes, that's good.
Okay. So what are your next immediate goals then? So you've just had Mr. Warren Weiss. We've just spoke about him. He came over and did a sparring seminar from you. So what's happening now in the next 6 months in South African Taekwondo?
Okay. As I'm saying, what is going to happen in the let's say our plan for next year. First of all, I'm planning with the guys. I'm going to visit Zambia, Malawi, Mozambique. Also to visit Botswana. Unfortunately, Nigeria have to come down to Zambia. Then at least I train with those guys. Then in October next year, I think Warren Weiss need to come down again in South Africa. But this time you will not come alone. At least I want to come with other masters overseas. We have a seminar, a sparring seminar again. We have a patterns seminar. We have a black belt grading, at least so that the guys can grade.
Yeah.
Black belt gradings. We are planning also to have a championship for those countries coming together. You see, that is our plan to grow the organization in this part of the world for next year. You see,
fantastic. And I think, again, having support from the Taekwondo International will really be able to help you achieve that. Yes.
That will be my I can be happy if things can be like that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because now the guys now they're looking at me now, and what motivated them now, at least they saw what happened last time Mr. Warren Weiss was here. Most of the countries, they wanted to come down to attend the seminar. So the problem, there was let's say a xenophobic attack within the country. So most of the countries, they stopped their citizens to come within South Africa. And it happened while we have, on the same month when we have the seminar. That's why a lot of countries, they didn't manage to come.
Okay, right.
It was supposed to be a big seminar, you see. So.
Okay, fantastic. So that sounds like you've got the next 12 months planned out quite comprehensively.
Yes.
Okay, Final question then, before we wrap up. We ask this of all of our guests, Job. So what motivates you personally?
Motivate me personally, no?
Yeah.
In martial art or in life?
In life, because I think it's quite clear with you, the two are the same.
Yeah. You know what? First of all, what motivates me, just when I wake up, I make sure that at least I need to work to make sure that I work hard, at least to make sure that I can take care of my family, let's say my children.
Sure. Yeah.
And I also want, secondly, I also want to see Taekwondo become the Taekwondo International becoming big. First, that's why every day, first thing when I wake up, I go to the training. I just go and train myself. Just because my even till now when I'm going to train, I just start the car. I go to the mountain. I start running the mountain, training on top of the mountain. I come back again. Then I go to work. In the later afternoon after work, I'm teaching Taekwondo at least 6 days a week.
Great. Well, it sounds like you're certainly keeping yourself motivated with your training and your teaching and all the international Taekwondo and politics and stuff that you're getting involved with over there. It sounds fantastic.
Yes.
But I think you're right. Ultimately, looking after your family and keeping your family safe.
Yeah.
I think is always number one goal.
Yeah, that's right. You see. So then one thing that I didn't even mention to my achievement. I have also been inducted to the Hall of Fame by Action Martial Art. Action Martial Arts. Okay. So they just give me. Next year. They invited me to go to New Jersey, Atlantic City, to get an award of a Esteemed Modern Warrior Award.
Fantastic.
Yes, you see.
Great. That sounds absolutely fantastic. Job, it's been absolutely great having you on the show this morning. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Yes. No, thank you very much also for calling me so that at least we can talk and I can share what is happening in this part of the world about Taekwondo, and also sharing my background, where I come from with martial art. And thank you very much for everything.
No, it's been great. It's been great having you on, Job.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up there, but thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you at the next World Championships.
Yeah,
or if not before.
Yes, no problem. Thank you, Gavin, and also Jay.
Okay.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Don't forget to like our Facebook page and our Facebook group, The Motivated Martial Artist Podcast.
Or check us out on Instagram, The Motivated Martial Artists,
where you'll see much more content and early insight into some of the interviews and some of the guests and some of the conversations around the things that we're discussing. Hope to see you all next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.